glad to be down in sunny Stockport for what has now becoming a sort of 4-yearly interview about your
This is my
aspirations.
third council election interview. Yeah,
and I remember
my original one in 2015, the re-election one.
Yeah, I know it's between the two of us. We've represented the Northwest for a fair amount of time.
We have actually, yeah.
But I have to make the comment first to start off with, and that is, in the Austin Powers movies, Dr. Evil has his cat.
Oh right, okay.
And today, I have to say, although you're not going to be Dr. Evil, you're sort of the honorary treasure of the RCN.
Yeah, this is Eris, who is my dog. I don't know if you can see Eris. Okay, see that cat over there. So Eris decided that she wasn't sure what I was doing, so she's going to sit on my lap. So I hope it's not too distracting.
No, that you look very cool and comfortable there.
Yeah.
And now she's out of...
It's a shame they don't like dogs at council meetings. It'd make it quite good fun.
Anyway.
Okay.
I suppose really looking back in a bit of history, between you and me, we've
16 years, I think. You represented the Northwest for 12 years. I've done it for 4. So, yeah, we've got a fair bit of council history between us.
The rebels of the RCN. So I'm going to ask you the format. I'm going to ask you a few questions, give you an opportunity to let people who are interested in voting the opportunity to meet you and sort of see your values and what you stand for.
Yeah.
So the first one I think I'm going to talk about is diversity.
Okay.
Because as long as I've been an RCN rep, and that's for 40 years now, diversity has always been around the RCN. We never seem to crack it. No,
we don't. And I think what's interesting is actually it's better at council than almost anywhere else in the organisation. So if you take council at the moment, 2/3 of council members are women. 1 in 7 council members from a BME background. It's kind of so we're currently on council. We're representing the nursing body, but actually, if you look at stewards, if you look at forums, if you look at regional boards, country boards, you look at branches, and I think one of the things we've got to do is to get a lot better at getting diversity all the way through the organisation. We get a lot of people who kind of want the top roles on council. But actually, we need to kind of embed it because where's the succession planning? If you look at councils and boards, they're getting older and older, and we're getting a lot of long-standing members. I'm in my early 50s. There's very few council members younger than me, and I think we need to get more people in their 20s and 30s and 40s kind of getting active in the college. That's an interesting point because when we started our RCN careers, we were youngsters. Yeah, and there were a lot more youngsters around. And there's a lot more youngsters in the Baileys and all of these people. Yeah. And just now, the way the college seems to be formatted for it, especially on its professional side, there doesn't seem to be room for young Band 5 nurses to get involved. No, there isn't. And I think that's one of the biggest diversity problems is, I think we're getting there, certainly at the top level around kind of gender and people from BME background. But we're not getting enough young people. So when you consider that a lot of our members are under 30, where are they represented in the decision making? And I think that shows in our ability to engage with things like social media. I don't think we're very good at it. I don't think we're good at engaging digitally. And I think there are a lot of younger nurses now who go the traditional branch meeting model, the traditional kind of I have to take a day off work and go to a meeting in London. That's not the way they engage. They engage electronically, they engage with social media. And I think the RCN needs to change. I think we need to get much more future-proof, and we need to find a way of engaging staff nurses and nurses at the earlier stage of their career and being active in the profession. And that's really interesting because, again, we've talked about nurses in the RCN, but we haven't talked about this whole raft of healthcare assistants, associate practitioners, nursing support workers, apprentices, this whole new range. And have we really done anything within the RCN to see how they can take part and what their part is within the RCN? I think we've made some early routes. So I think we now have, we now have nursing support workers on council, on key committees, but actually the numbers are scarily low. And what we're finding is we're attracting members for a year or two and then they're leaving. And we need to get the whole nursing family, because if all we end up being is the body where registered nurses are, we fail to influence care. And more care is being delivered in social care settings, in the independent sector, and in places where there aren't necessarily huge amounts of registered nurses. And if we're really about impacting care across the whole UK, we need to engage with them, and we need to find an offer that makes sense. We're doing a membership review at the moment that's happening this year, which is good. But we need to really understand why they're not engaging with the college, and how to get them more involved.
And one of the weaknesses, I think, within the RCN is that its strength lies within activism with the NHS.
Yeah.
How do we get that level of contact and activism within the independent sector? Do we need to campaign more as a traditional trade union rather than try and sell ourselves as a professional trade union into the private sector?
I think we do, and I think the problem is a lot of our union model is built on large employers. So where you have an employer that's got 2, 3, 4,000 staff, we know how to engage with that. We have the traditional sort of convener model, branch model. We have stewards, safety reps, accreditation, and so on. But in smaller organisations, and more services are going to smaller organisations, that model just doesn't work. We need to find a way where we can actually better support members who are in smaller independent sector, who are in social enterprises, or in charities, or in educational establishments, and even in local authorities, which are big employers, but they often don't recognise the RCN because it's not one of their big unions. So I think as an organisation, we've just got to get better so that people don't think we're a very NHS-centric organisation.
Do you think that goes for the same for the Safe Staffing campaign? It's too NHS focused.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I spent 10 years of my career in the NHS. I've probably spent the best part of the last 15 years working in the independent, the education sector. And there is a definite mismatch. And if we just think that safe staffing is about hospital wards, then we're missing all the people working in community setting, all the people working in nursing care homes, etc. And I think even if you look at the countries which are way ahead of us, I think we've got a lot to learn from America, from New Zealand, from Australia, that's had safe staffing legislation for years. They started with hospital wards, but they had to get out into the community. They had to get out in employers. It's not okay to go, you're going to have safe staffing when your loved one's in hospital, but the moment they're discharged into the community or into a home, that all of a sudden safe staffing isn't an issue.
And on that issue of safe staffing, just to sort of go off on another branch of safe staffing, is that with Brexit looming and the pound diving against the euro, is there not a problem that our European nurses are going to go because it's no longer pays to work in Britain?
Yeah, well, we're getting that now. I mean, to be honest, from the results of the referendum, there was a huge drop-off in the number of EU nurses looking to come over, and that's got worse and worse. And even nurses who are outside the EU, if they're looking to move internationally, they often want to work in an EU country. So we're having a huge fall-off. And nursing numbers is a big issue, and I don't think the government's taking it seriously. I think we trot out statistics like we've got 40,000 vacancies, and actually we need to get the government to do more about it. And I think, unfortunately, the government do seem to be taking a lot more cognizance of, say, the medical royal colleges than they do of the nursing. You just have to look at the pensions issue. When the doctors hit a massive pensions issue, all of a sudden that caused government action. We've got huge nursing vacancies, we've got nursing pay issues, we've got nursing pension issues, and they just don't seem as afraid of the RCN. I don't think they see the Royal College of Nursing as the big, important, powerful professional body and trade union that it used to be.